Good afternoon, I'm Ryan Baker. The Ohio State men's basketball team suffered their worst loss of the season, falling to Michigan 82-61 yesterday. They'll look to rebound from that Wednesday night when they host USC at 6:30. Hear from head coach Jake Diebler on his weekly radio show coming up next on The Fan. The 9th-ranked Lady Bucks went 2-0 on their West Coast swing, beating Oregon 80-64. They're off until Sunday when they host number 22 Maryland at 2. The Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl champions. They beat the New England Patriots 29-13 last night. Running back Kenneth Walker III, your Super Bowl MVP, rushing for 135 yards. Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak announced he's taking the Raiders head coaching job after the game. This one brought to you by RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, Pataskala, and always online at rcdrv.com.
From Learfield, this is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
And thanks for joining us again this week as we continue on through the Ohio State basketball season with head coach Jake Diebler. The Buckeyes looking to bounce back after yesterday's game against Michigan. They'll be at home Wednesday with USC. And Jake, you talked after the game about all of the factors that led into the outcome of yesterday's game, but most significantly, you talked about this team showing its resiliency and its desire to get on the court, whether it's practice or games, and work on improvement. If you would kind of rehash some of that for us.
Yeah, listen, disappointed in our physicality that we played with last night, and disappointed in the ball movement and the way we moved offensively. Those were the two biggest things, I think, going back and watching the film, that we can control and we have to be better in, and we have been better in. So that's where it starts. We got to get back to work on those things. And then, this is a group that has shown all season that it responds well to not either playing our best or the difficult moments. I don't think we handled in game the adversity as well as we have. We that's where our lack of physicality and lack of ball movement became a problem. When we needed it most, we didn't have it. So this team will respond because we got great kids who are close, and we got a good team, so we got to get back to work. We got a short turnaround. We got to get ready to play well on Wednesday.
Coach, what did you like about your team despite the result?
Well, Ron, I don't know if it's hard against your rival to take to take positives from a loss. I think the thing for us is I like the honest conversations that have come from the game, where guys are looking in the mirror and we're kind of talking as a team of what our flaws were, and we're kind of attacking them, right, to get better. Like that part I do like. I like the way, since the game we've been managing, moving forward, and that's important. So during the game, again, they're really good. They're talented. They have great size. Just the things we can control, we weren't good enough in, and that part is hard to just move on from.
Is that where guys that have played a lot of basketball can be more adept at taking ownership of things, Jake?
I think so. I think, I've said this from day one. Our ceiling as a team, we won't reach our ceiling until our leadership pushes us there. And so this is a great opportunity for them to show the growth that they've made since the start of the season. And we got to help them do that because it's not natural for some of our guys. But, I think they're trying, and I think they're learning, and we are growing in that area. Thought our leadership was really, really good coming out of the game against Wisconsin, practicing leading into the Maryland game, which led us into playing well that game. And so we have to have that type of response. We have to have that type of response from those guys here today.
Well, Jay, clearly we all know, and the country knows how good Michigan is based on not only what they did against Ohio State, but some of the other top opponents in the country. Second time you faced them. Going into the game, what were two or three things that you mentioned, the things that you can control? What were two or three things that you felt needed to happen for your team to have a better showing?
Rebounding is where it started. And the game started with us not doing a good enough job of that. That was probably one of my biggest frustrations is we talked about, watched, worked on rebounding. It was a major priority for us going into the game because they hurt us on the glass in the first game. And for them to get 3 offensive rebounds, I think, on the second possession is just – it's unacceptable. So, and again, it was a lack of physicality. That's where I thought our lack of physicality showed up in 2 areas the most. On the ball, we didn't pressure the ball enough. We weren't impactful guarding the ball enough. We had too much space, too much separation, and then on the glass. And so those are things that if we do differently and we adjust quicker, then I think we have a situation to maybe flip the way, because we had opportunities in spite of all that, in spite of them shooting 50% from 3 in the first half and all these things. We get a rebound at the end of the first half, we go in down 7 instead of 10. Like, there were little things like that. We have a chance to cut the lead and get it to single digits and had multiple possessions in a row where we could have made some, and we didn't take care of the ball. We didn't, so we have to be better in those situations. Rebounding was where it started for us, and it started, unfortunately, at the beginning of the game, and they ended up, and it was 3 guys. 3 guys did the rebounding. So our guys with size got to play with more physicality on the interior. It's just that simple.
And is that where it's also that much more significant for your guards and your smaller players to get involved in that too?
It is, but our guards have. Bruce has been a great defensive rebounder for us. Devin was better this game than he was first game against him. But, a lot of times it's man on man a lot of times. And I think for us, what we saw on film was this turn, to go towards the rim instead of going to hit. And it's something we've worked on endlessly. That, and that carryover, or the lack of carryover, is where we have to take ownership over that. And we got to say, okay, like, enough's enough. We're not going to keep getting pushed under the rim, because this wasn't a long rebound game where our guards weren't, these rebounds were inside 6 feet, and we weren't good enough in that space.
Yeah, got a coveted weekend game. I thought Buckeye Nation showed up in force, was looking and hoping for more stuff to cheer about. But, Coach, when you look at the way the game went and the crowd being there against your rival, you look at your leadership, Bruce Thornton, Devin Roll, and the reaction after Wisconsin. But what was the reaction after the game with some of your leaders and taking a loss and learning from that and getting ready for Wednesday?
Yeah, well, I think first off, yes, we've been, since I got the job and our schedule came out in year 1, we've worked really hard to get a game like that, right? Communication with the Big Ten and weekend game and big stage. And so I'm grateful that, Buckeye Nation did their part. They came, they were loud. We didn't do our part and give them those opportunities to help us get over the hump a couple of games. That's on us. So I think, the atmosphere was really good. We need it. Like, we need that. It can be really helpful. We'll do our part on Wednesday. I've got great confidence in that. But we need that continuing on, because we got some big-time home games yet to come. And, I think for us it's to be seen, right? I think so far I like what I've seen from our leaders since the game. And, we got time today and tomorrow to see, like, are we going to continue to respond the way we know we can? And they got to answer that bell, and we got to help them with that. But I like what I've seen from them so far since after the game, Ron.
If you've got a question for Coach Diebler, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at OhioStateBuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show inbox, Union Home Mortgage. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com and NMLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You stick to your coast at all costs. You never let traffic stop your drive. You aren't just a dreamer, you're a doer. You power through all of life's hills and valleys without hesitation. You're not looking to be discovered. You've already found your place. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Modern Office Methods, your authorized RICO dealer, can help your business optimize your print production with a competitive advantage. Our digital printing options will expand the type of paper and substrates from what your business can print on today. Add variable data capability, which allows for personalization of catalogs and mailers, and the ability for short-run label printing, which allows your business to print high volumes of custom labels quickly and on demand. Want to learn more? Start with a print assessment at momnet.com. Why risk it? You can count on Mom.
Running around is a requirement on the court, but it shouldn't be the norm for grocery shopping. Get everything in one place at Giant Eagle, with produce delivered daily, meat and seafood expertly cut by our team, and bread and desserts baked in store. Fresh is our thing. With My Perks rewards, everyday low prices, and weekly deals, saving is simple. Shop at Giant Eagle, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. For freshness, quality, and savings in one stop, Giant Eagle, because it matters.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So check out Donato's $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5 each. Order your favorite $5 Pizza Pals from Donatos.com today. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donatos. Gotta love more.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our show this week with Ohio State head coach Jake Diebler. Time for our Elk and Elk injury report. Jake, I guess on that subject, it's kind of safe to say that this deep into the year, everybody's dealing with a little something, aren't they?
Yes. I think, you'll see most everybody maybe missing a guy in a game or things like that. We've certainly, missed Brandon, and he's working really hard to get back as quickly as he can. I think we're, starting to see some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, but things got to continue to progress accordingly. Obviously, his size and physicality, we'll certainly welcome that back. Puff is progressing too. He got injured in practice. Unfortunate. Feel bad for him because it felt like he was just kind of starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm. And Matthew wasn't with us last night. He's been really sick, so we're just got some things that we're battling through. But listen, hey, this is kind of life in February.
Absolutely.
And what I am appreciative of is the performance team we have, the resources we have here at Ohio State, how hard everybody's working to help our guys, be their best. And we've seen guys like Tilly's come a long way since a couple weeks ago, battling through injury. We've got a lot of guys out there that are working hard to be available, and we've got a great team around them to help.
The injury report brought to you by the Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. We'll start with our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Jan in Zanesville asking about looking at the first game against Michigan as opposed to yesterday, where there's some things, you talked a little bit about rebounding, but some other things that went better in Ann Arbor that were different yesterday here?
Yeah, I thought offensively we had strung together better possessions. Felt like our solution last night was too much one-on-one and not enough, not enough trust in the pass. And that was a problem for us last night. And I think we've seen now, again, in both games, we've seen opportunities to gain momentum that have been stopped with some unfortunate turnovers. That's another area that we gotta be better in. But yeah, the glaring thing for me both times is still starts with rebounding, and that's an area. Obviously, their size plays a factor, but we were more physical. I felt like at their place than we were last night, and we got to be better in that area.
Coach, when you look at the first Michigan game and the second, there was one thing that was in common. Michigan has the luxury of having a talented player at 6'9" that can guard smaller players and really positions 1 through 5. I'm talking about Jackson, Lindenborg. I know that Bruce struggled a little bit up there. John Mobley Jr. was a little bit more effective. Then it kind of switched. What impact does that have on your team when you go against someone that has a player like Jackson Lindenborg that can guard positions 1 through 5?
Yeah, well, he's a really good defender for his size, and so's Merez Johnson. He has an ability to switch. I think what you see on film is there's times where when you have that level of size on a smaller player, it's little things like takes away, maybe passing windows. So now it's harder for a smaller guard maybe to execute the next pass and the right read because you got a bigger guy taking away his vision.
Yeah, I know how that feels, man.
So yeah, little things like that, and then the contest oftentimes becomes a little bit more challenging. So I think a part of what makes their defense successful is the versatility of their size. Mara has an ability to protect the rim, certainly, but Lindenborg and Johnson, their ability to guard on the perimeter at that size and switch to keep them out of rotation is a real luxury.
Jake, talk a little bit, if you would, about the start that we saw Christoph Tilley get off to, especially the way he was able to hit a couple of 3-balls.
Yeah, it was great. Thought he was aggressive. He played with poise. He got away from that a little bit, which is unfortunate because he had opportunities, I think, to continue that aggressiveness. Picking up the foul trouble, I think, played a role in that a little bit. But he benefits, I think, especially against guys with maybe a little bit more size, which not a lot of guys have more size than him. But when he comes across that, he gets sped up a little bit in the paint at times and kind of got off balance. Or when he's playing off balance with his pivot, his footwork is phenomenal. Yeah. When he's utilizing that footwork and utilizing the touch he has with both hands, it makes him really, really tough to guard in the paint. And then through that, teams have to help. Now it opens up passes, and then we get good looks from that. 3-point shots, I thought he probably could have taken 1 or 2 more. I thought there were some opportunities out there that, he made those early. He's got to stay aggressive. So I think the encouraging thing we've seen with him now is string together a couple games where he's been more aggressive and been more productive, which is really important for us. He's got to continue to do that.
Coach, post game after the first matchup against Michigan, there was definitely a big time difference in free throw attempts, and you mentioned after the game that you were going to look at that and examine maybe your team needing to learn how to finish a little bit better at the rim and drawing fouls. And in this particular game, 16 attempts versus their 7. So what was a difference in that category from a positive standpoint?
Yeah, I thought we did a better job guarding without fouling, especially in the first half, and I thought we did a better job playing with. One of the areas I felt like we played with good physicality was when we drove the ball. I felt like we played tough, we played strong, we drove it hard. Again, that we talked about the 2 areas where we weren't physical enough that really, really hurt us. But on offense, I thought we played with some good physicality, some good force that got us to the line, got them in foul trouble there, got us in the bonus. So that was encouraging to see that we were able to make that adjustment. But honestly, Ron, I would have taken a few more free throws for them if it would have meant we were being more physical on the ball. I think we weren't physical enough on the ball. So if we were more physical on the ball, I would have rather them have 4 more free throws, if that would have been the case. But so that's got to be better in that area.
a trend that we've seen in the last 3 games, including yesterday's, starting to get a little more offense off the bench. Is that something that's a positive trend that you're seeing?
Yeah, I think, and Tayson's led the way with that, and it's been good to see. I think he's getting up a good number of shots in his minutes. Obviously turned it over a couple times last night, but I think we got confidence in him. I think he's playing with confidence. I thought, really his shot attempts were good, and he did a good job, and he got to the free throw line. So I'm more impressed with his rebounding, quite honestly. I mean, I thought he's now starting. We're seeing growth in some of those other areas on the other side of the ball, guarding the ball better, better awareness off the ball. Still got to keep getting better as we all do, but he came in there and got some rebounds for us, which was really important. And I think he's continuing to show that he deserves this opportunity. He's kind of seized it. We've been asking guys to step up and do that. He has, and he's got to keep being a big time factor for us.
Every team every year has a different mix. And when you look at this team, last year Micah Parrish took on the challenge of being that defensive guy that you could potentially go to at times. Who could be that player for this team? I know there's been a number of games we played so far, 23, but the guy that can set the tone. You mentioned being more physical as a group defensively. Who's the guy that can maybe lead that charge?
Yeah, I think the best one at it is Bruce.
Okay.
We need some other guys to be better. Like, we need Devin to be able to step up and guard. Like, he's on the perimeter. He's got to be able. He can't play so far off guys because it puts us in a situation where teams can slip now and they can, miscommunication happens because we don't have physicality on the ball. So I think he can raise his physicality level. John has shown an ability to do it. And when he does it, it helps us. Gabe has shown an ability to do it. When he does, it helps us. So these guys got to, we know we got to foul less, but we've talked about very specifically, there's a difference between fouling less, right? Guys go up for shots, slapping down because you're late, or give, like, when guys go up to shoot, have great tech. That's not the time to be more physical. Be more physical on the dribble. Be more physical on screening actions. Be more physical when you're guarding the ball. That's what we're trying to get better at, and we've been working hard to get better at it. We were better at it against Maryland. We were better at it to start the game against Wisconsin. We weren't good enough in that area last night.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our show, presented each week by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through March 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Corolla or Corolla Hybrid, excludes GR and Corolla Cross, or lease a new gas-powered Corolla LE for $199 a month or 39 months with $36.99 due at signing, with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The Roosters Foundation helps raise over $1 million each year for local charities and organizations and is the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes. The Roosters Foundation is donating $25 for every foul shot the Buckeyes make at home this season to the Down Syndrome Association of Central Ohio, providing support and opportunities to families and individuals living with Down syndrome. And welcome back to our show this week as Ohio State gets ready for a home game Wednesday night, 6:30 against USC, and then Saturday playing Virginia in Nashville. Let's go back to our Union Home Mortgage Inbox questions. Ron in Batavia asking, what's the most difficult part of evaluating both talent and what would be a good team fit when recruiting from the transfer portal?
Yeah, great question. One of the hardest parts is quite honestly, the non-basketball, because it's such a tight window and you're doing, research, gathering information, background information to figure out who is this person. Because sometimes you have familiarity with guys, maybe you recruited them out of high school, but sometimes you don't. And I think figuring out that type of fit is the hardest part. The basketball part, seeing what guys can do, is not like there's film. You can stay up all night and watch film, right? But you can't stay up all night talking to a kid, the people around them. It's a harder thing to evaluate in such a tight window.
Meaning time.
Correct. The window to evaluate that part and get to know somebody is really, really small.
Coach, when you look at the type of player you want, right? High basketball IQ, you mentioned that, unselfishness, playing hard. Now, when you look at the universe of NIL and what teams are doing now, it seems like there's more of an emphasis on experience. How does that impact when you're recruiting kids in high school versus relying on the portal and bringing guys in that are older?
Yeah, I think, here with our setup, you have to have a blend because the reality is experience comes at a price.
Yep.
And I think, and there's levels to experience, whether if it's high major experience or low major experience or mid major experience, like in each one has a different price. That's the reality of college basketball right now. So, we're not in a position yet where we can, go get a ton of high major experience, 5, 6, 7 guys in the portal. That's just not how we're going to be able to build things. That's okay. We can find other ways to do it. So what we've had to do is find a blend. I do think we have to be a program that helps guys develop because of that, and that is going to be a pathway to be successful. So getting talented young players who can develop, and retention is critical, and all of these things play a factor. But I think for us, I like the blend we have on our team right now. I mean, I wish we were healthier, but I like the blend we have of a really talented young player like Amari Bynum, a young player in John Mobley who's developed, from one year to the next, veterans like Bruce Thornton and Christoph Tilley, and then a guy, in Devin Royal who's had development and a veteran, so we have a blend. I think it's kind of how we have to do it, right now, and we'll continue trying to approach that. Like every spring is an opportunity to reevaluate, and that's what we have to do every year in April.
So you talk about the kids that are in high school and then retaining the players that are already in your program. What about the emphasis and strategy of what other teams are doing going international, where there's some cases you may have 4 or 5 guys like that? So how does that impact how you look at bringing in new guys?
I think what you want to do is you want to make sure you're exploring all available options, and we do that. We brought in some international players, but not every program is operating right under the same circumstances, so you can't do it exactly like someone else. You got to do what fits for you, and but we will always work in you know this about recruiting, Ron. A lot of what you do in recruiting is eventually ends up being wasted time, right? But it's not really wasted. It just ends up being that way because you can only bring so many players in, but you have to do your research and spend the time and do the work to figure out who the right fit is. And that includes international players. It includes the transfer portal. It includes high school players. It includes G League players now, right? Like there's just a lot of
so maybe NBA players too.
Well, yeah. You got to just, I think for us, you got to keep all options available, and that's what we do. And our staff is working tirelessly to make sure there's no stone unturned, when you go through that recruiting process.
And on that subject, and it's not unique to your program, but if you would talk about in season, the challenge that comes with the time put into recruiting, especially with high school kids while their seasons are going on.
Recruiting's a 24/7, 365, job. I mean, I guess it's a little bit of an exaggeration. You're not maybe necessarily recruiting while you're sleeping, but you're always recruiting. I think you're always recruiting. You're always recruiting high school players. I think it's always going to be a part of our program, recruiting high school players. So we're always doing that. Transfer portal, you're not always recruiting in the transfer portal, but when it hits, it's that. Yeah. You might not sleep when the transfer portal opens because of the intensity of that. And then the international space is something, it's unique. There's some events that you can go to internationally that you're allowed to do outside of the country, even though you might not be able to recruit inside the country at that time. So there's just always recruiting to be done, and recruiting's such a critical, important part of your program. It's the lifeblood of your program, and that's why I'm so excited about where we're heading, because we got another really good freshman class. Now it's smaller. The days, I think, of 5, 6, 7 freshmen are kind of over for us. But we got 2 really good players that we got high level belief in who can come in and help us, right away. And I think it's really exciting.
Coach, everything's evolved, right? And so when you look at recruiting, it used to be mom and dad and maybe that uncle or whatever that's influential. But now who are all the players now? You got agents, you got AAU coaches. Just talk about the difficulty. Well, maybe not difficulty, the process of making sure you're impacting the right folks that are all going to have a say in the final decision.
Yeah, it's different. I think you're seeing in some cases the circle around the player is bigger than maybe it used to be. There were some cases, 10 years ago where there were still some big circles around some guys. There's also still some cases where there's some small circles around recruits. So I think each individual recruit, you have to work really, really hard to figure out who that circle of influence is, and it varies in size. I think we're seeing more now that's expanded than maybe what it used to be, but it's not necessarily wrong. It's just different. And you still got to figure out, is this young man made of the stuff that you want your program to be about? Is the talent there to help? There's all this. You're still evaluating all the same stuff. I think the things that have changed is now you have to do it in a shorter period of time, and now you may have to have more conversations and talk to more people that may be around a young man than it used to be. But it's not wrong. It's just different, and you just got to spend the time to really get to know people and really evaluate well.
And while you're dealing with all of those elements, how significant is it to have a day like yesterday with a good crowd on hand in the arena, or the other example is when you bring some of these young men in and take them to a home football game.
Yeah. I think one of the things that helps us in recruiting certainly is, the passion, the power, the size, the influence of Buckeye Nation. There's no question. And, we lean into that. Like, we bring guys to football games. We celebrate the success of our football team and the power of Ohio State. And there's no better, we had an unbelievable crowd. It was great yesterday. Again, I'm thankful for them. We didn't do our part, right, like at the level we needed to. But even when this place is full, it's the shoe's like 5 times the size. So there's no better display than the passion and power of Buckeye Nation than on Football Saturday. So, we try to get as many, young players on our campus on those days to celebrate that as we can.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our show, presented each week by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And when you download the Kroger app, you can clip and save more with digital coupons every week. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you can enjoy more ways to save and more rewards every time you shop. So it's always easy to save big every day with savings and rewards. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan, your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. And welcome back to our show this week. We'll go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. Eric in Shaker Heights asking, is there a preference to play zone or man-to-man against a team that gets hot shooting, and are there benefits to either?
I think it's circumstantial. In zone, you don't usually have a man on a man, right? So not a body on a body. So there's some space. There's some windows that exist that shouldn't exist in man-to-man defense. And I think a lot depends on, personnel, how many shooters are out there, where are their threes coming from, as to what may be better against a team who gets it rolling offensively. For us, when we give up a few made threes in our zone, it's typically because, we're not providing enough pressure on the ball, or we get caught too low, and you can address that by being more matched up, right, with man to man. So I think it's circumstantial. You got to evaluate, right, game to game. But I think the thing for us that we've had success with is mixing up defenses, and we didn't do that as much yesterday's game because of the way they got rolling offensively in the first half. But I think it's just going to kind of depends on some outside factors.
Coach, when you have to make your mid-game adjustments, you look at the game yesterday against Michigan. Adai Mara is a threat inside. He's 0 for 4 coming into the game, and he knocks down a couple threes. The game against Wisconsin on the road, one of their role players gets hot. So what goes into making the adjustments when someone goes out and does something that you don't necessarily expect for them to do at a high level?
Yeah, well, you got to – and it's great because we have technology now that you can get a reference point, not just what you see, right? You can go back and actually look at it. But I think you got to understand, okay, why, right? Why did those happen? And, we weren't going to come pressure – specifically popping off a ball screen. We weren't going to come pressure their big fella. We were more going to contain the ball with our big.
Right.
And he, hasn't even looked to shoot him, really. Yeah. And then yesterday he not only looked to shoot him, but he shot, a couple and made them. So I think the great part about college basketball is, you get these big-time stages, big-time games, and every once in a while you see a young man step up and do some stuff that they're not accustomed to doing. Unfortunately, that's been for the other team and not us, the 2 points you referenced. But, I think we have this path, and what I'm hopeful is we can have some of those moments with some of our guys here down the stretch. If we can keep working and keep focused on the main thing and put, all our attention and preparation and everything towards helping Ohio State basketball be its very best. I think you'll see we're due for some of that. We're due to see maybe a guy like Amari hit 3 threes, or I think Tayson's had a little bit of that, right? Tayson's stepped up, but he's shown some consistency, which shows what he's capable of. But we got some guys that are due. I thought we had some good looks there, yesterday that they made those looks and we didn't, and that was part of the game. And what you want to see as a coach, you want to see your defense hold firm, right, when maybe you're not making some of those open looks. But our defense didn't hold firm enough yesterday, and it's kind of why the game got the way it was.
Jake, you mentioned earlier that development is important for you and your staff when players come and make a decision and come to Ohio State. John Mobley Jr., this is his second year. Amari Bynum, this is his first year. Just talk about some of the things that you see them, which both of them have developed the most in. And start with John Mobley Jr. being at his second year.
Yeah, I think John's really, and I know he didn't have a great game yesterday, and he knows that, but I think his playmaking has continued to grow significantly from last year to this year. His assists, he's had some high-level assist games. Everybody, including us, know that he can make shots. I think what we're seeing is he's learning and growing in an ability to create more shots, whether it's with the ball or without the ball, for himself. And then I like his improvement. It wasn't as good as it had been, but I like his improvement defensively. I think he's shown some strides and in an ability to guard the ball. Mari, has typically played with a great deal of energy and toughness and physicality. Wasn't his best yesterday, but when he is, he's proven to be a really productive player. And I think what we're working on, and he and I's conversations are about the consistency required to do that. He works extremely hard. He approaches each day really well. We've asked a freshman to do a lot. I mean, he played 33 minutes yesterday. So I just, I think for those guys, be confident in your work, let it translate, give it a chance to translate on game day, and stay the course. I think because both those guys, we've seen tremendous growth this year.
We'll have more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hey, Buckeye fans, are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Midwest Cards is pumped to present the Ohio State Trading Card Night with Buckeye legend Evan Turner before the Ohio State versus Wisconsin game on Tuesday, February 17th. We will have games, card giveaways, and you can meet Evan Turner in person. Plus, snag a limited edition Evan Turner card with your ticket. There will be a few special guests from Ohio State football. It all kicks off at 5:30. Then stick around to cheer on the Buckeyes. Visit go.osu.edu/Trading Card Night 26 for more details.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone, like the best-selling Camry. Now through March 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Camry, or lease a new Camry LE for just $279 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing, with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. There will always be questions, Jake, and we will go to one of them now from the Union Home Mortgage inbox. Christopher in Cincinnati asking, how much are defensive skills valued in the recruiting process versus great offensive skills?
Yeah, they're both really important and valued, and I think you're looking for fit and blend, and certainly we all want players who are great at both. And I think for all the stuff we talked about before, it's just there's a lot of factors that go into recruiting now. But we are part of basketball, high basketball IQ. We immediately take our mind to a place where we're thinking about offense. Well, that has just as much to do with defense as well. And I think experience is something that's not only valuable on offense, but really valuable on defense as well. So, yes, is the answer. Both are very valuable and evaluated, thoroughly.
Coach, from day one, you mentioned that you want to play fast. So I would imagine when you're looking to recruit a player, you want someone that can get the ball from A to B pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think the way this season has evolved, we haven't been able to play at the pace, we were at earlier due to some injuries and depth in things. And we've been slowed down by some teams. I think the way teams have schemed against us at times, and but the biggest thing for us, I think, is the minutes we have some guys playing. It's hard to play at the pace. We tried to do some things to speed the game up at times with pressing and doing some trapping and things at different parts of the court. But yeah, I think pace is really important. It's hard to score against set defenses over and over and over again. It's why generating turnovers is important, so you can get out and play early. It's why creating an advantage early in the clock is really important, and having a high basketball IQ so you can identify that advantage and keep it and make a quick decision and make the defense pay quickly. All those things impact pace of play, but I like us playing fast. I like us playing free. We got bogged down yesterday. We didn't do that well enough, and we got to address that.
With what's coming up this week, if you would, first off, a little on USC, who will be here on Wednesday, and then also the Virginia game in Nashville on Saturday, and if you would talk about how that all came about.
Yeah, two really good teams that are huge opportunities for us. Excited to be at home on Wednesday, and that's a team that's very similar where we are in standings and things. So it's a big time game, and the Virginia game, we're excited to go out of conference, play a really quality opponent in a great venue, and that was by design. We wanted to again have a really good, hard non-conference schedule. You anticipate, you don't always get it right on how it shakes out as the year progresses, but we wanted to play a true road game, we play a true home game, then we wanted some good neutral games, and this is certainly one of them. It happens to come in a really, really tight stretch, for us.
Yeah.
A lot of games in a short window, and I think that's one of the biggest things I'm thinking through and processing is, we want to make sure that our guys are, able to fly around and play with great kind of energy, and that, it's hard because the quick turnaround. So what you do on the court, you have to be really efficient with your time. And we're trying to make sure we do that, and you have to invest a lot of time and energy and recovery and things, because we're asking some guys to play a lot of minutes out there.
We used to see this more, but a non-conference game in the middle of a conference schedule, is there pluses, minuses, or nothing to it?
Well, I think the minus is, it's kind of squeezed into a tight window. I think the plus is it is an opportunity in a critical time to have pick up a big time win. Like that's a real positive, and it simulates an NCAA tournament style feel. So that's all positive right there in my mind. To be able to have an opportunity to play a team, a top 25 team outside of your league, essentially get an extra game during that stretch. Now we got to manage the fatigue and all the stuff that comes into play, which we will. I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Coach, when you look at Devin Royal, we mentioned the development of Amari Bynum during this year and John Mobley Jr. over the last year and this year. Devin Royal changing positions offensively, how much of more of an additional challenge there is when you go from one position to another and with your development?
It's hard. But Devin's worked really hard at it. We've had to make some adjustments as Big Ten play has gone on. And he's got to continue to adjust. He's got to be aggressive. I think I'm encouraged. I thought he played a really mature game against Maryland, 4 assists. He rebounded well last game, so we're seeing pieces of his game. Now we just got to put it all together. He's got to be aggressive, got to score for us, so he needs to be a complete player, and he can.
Jake, thanks as always. We appreciate it. We'll see you here Wednesday night.
All right, guys. Thanks. Go Bucks.
And thanks for listening to today's show, presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast. Join us Wednesday as Ohio State hosts USC. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45. For Skip Mossick, Cole Bartimus, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.